I skimmed across black water without once submerging onto the banks of an urban morning that hungers the first light much, much more than mountains ever do. And she, like a ghost beside me, goes down with the ease of a dolphin and emerges unlearned, unharmed, unshamed. For she is the perfect creature, natural in every feature, and I am the geek with the alchemist stone. For all of you who must discover, for all who seek to understand, for having left the path of others, you'll find a very special hand. For it is a holy thing, and it is a precious time, and it is the only way. Forget-me-nots amongst the snow, it's always been, and so it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally. You who must discover, for all who seek to understand, for having left the path of others, you'll find a very special hand. For it is a holy thing, and it is a precious time, and it is the only way. Forget-me-nots amongst the snow, it's always been, and so it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally. One bright blue rose outlives all those 2,000 years, and so it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally. One bright blue rose outlives all those 2,000 years, and so it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally.
on.
Oh, you nail makers all remember well the strike of which this tale I do tell. How cold and hungry we that heavy day to Bromsgrove town did take our toilsome way. These nail forgers' miserable souls will not forget the giver of the coals. Now masters are hard-hearted files, and the way we took was 13 weary miles. The slaves abroad in the sugar canes find plenty to help and pity of their pains, but the slaves at home in the mines and fire have plenty to pity, none to admire. Oh, you nail makers all remember well the strike of which this tale I do tell. How cold and hungry we that heavy day to Bromsgrove town to take our toilsome way. I wish I could see all nail dealers draw such a load as did we poor nailers, to feel such punishment and smarts might soften their hard stony hearts. So as the nailers suffer such smarts, I hope it will soften old Pharaoh's heart. Let every nailer tell to his son the labours that we for our rights have done. Oh, you nail makers all remember well the strike of which this tale I do tell. How cold and hungry we that heavy day to Bromsgrove town to take our toilsome way. To Bromsgrove town we take our toilsome way. Weak, fair pay and conditions are all we seek. Round forge and bellows the babbies play. When older they went to work. Oh shit. The work is hard, the day is long. Now masters all come hear my song. Our labours are but all in vain. Our families we can't maintain. For 15 hours each tiring day, we strike our hammers to earn our pay. 24,000 tax to make each week. Fair pay and conditions are all we seek. Round forge and bellows the babbies play. When older they work to earn their way. Hot iron and breeze, flying sparks to burn. There is no one to whom we can turn. Bread, marge and tea is all we take. It's work for us, no sign of cake. The foggers always bleed us dry. Our only rest is when we die. In 1852 they broke our strike, the unions too, and now machines rule this fair land. The U-Bank nail maker has made us damned. Nail masters and foggers, there's no escape. They bleeds us dry, it's worse than rape. 15 bob a week to feed us 7. What we don't get now, we'll get in heaven. Grabber's Lane, the folks all knew it well. To Yew Tree Lane they changed its name. To Society it fell. In Fairfield village years ago there was an old dirt road. Twixt Bournheath Road and Starbridge Road it carried many a load. Billy Walters owned the one side, Dick Burton tilled the other. But Billy Walters with his 18 men took Cumbridge to its user. Grabber's Lane, a Grabber's Lane, the folks all knew it well. To Yew Tree Lane they changed its name. To Society it fell. He would not let the Burtons pass over his precious land. So he built a barricade with his 18 men to hand. Dick Burton of Yew Tree Farm did not like this plan, so got his friends and a horse and cart, and to the fight they ran. Grabber's Lane, a Grabber's Lane, the folks all knew it well. To Yew Tree Lane they changed its name. To Society it fell. Old Billy was a frugal man, land and houses he had many. The locals called him Grabber 'cause of his love of money. 1895 the year, the time of the famous fight. They called the track Grabber's Lane. They thought it apt and right. Grabber's Lane, a Grabber's Lane, folks all knew it well. To Yew Tree Lane they changed its name. To Society it fell. The council took the lane in hand with celebrations planned. A big brass band from Dudley came, played the funeral march real grand. A human dummy was made and buried in that well-trod earth. Then they all went up to the Nailer's arms and drank well with great mirth. Grabber's Lane, a Grabber's Lane, the folks all knew it well. To Yew Tree Lane they changed its name. To Society it fell. Grabber's Lane stayed quiet for 60 years, but then a change took place. Builders came with posh new houses and rich folk in with haste. But Grabber's Lane didn't suit the taste for their brand new address. To Yew Tree Lane they changed the name, but the locals still know best. Grabber's Lane, the folks all knew it well. To Yew Tree Lane they changed its name, to society it fell. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side, with his fireman by his side, with his fireman by his side. Steam engines, music, poem from the gravestone, and back to the last verse and chorus.
Nothing to it.
Tommy Scaife was a BG company man, hard working he'd always been, steering the track of the permanent way for God and the English Queen. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side. Clickety-clack on the iron track, the hill was won in 37, but that fearsome grade they never made, 'cause the steam threw them to heaven. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side. Shoveling slack in the cold pitch black, life on the steel-foot plate did always mean great heat and steam for Tommy and his mate. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side. They rode their engine named Surprise, full throttle at the slope, but that journey spelled for them the end of life and hope. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side, with his fireman by his side, with his fireman by his side. Steam engines. My engine now is cold and still. No water does my boiler fill. My coke affords its flame no more. My days of usefulness are o'er. My wheels deny their noted speed. No more my guiding hand they heed. My whistle, too, has lost its tone. Its shrill and thrilling sound are gone. My valves are now thrown open wide. My flanges all refuse to guide. My clacks also, though once so strong, refuse to aid the busy throng. No more I feel each urging breath. My steam is now condensed in death. Life's railways all, each station past, in death I'm stopped and rest at last. Farewell, dear friends, and cease to weep. In Christ I'm safe, in him I sleep. O reader, stay and cast an eye upon this grave wherein I lie, for cruel death has challenged me, and soon, alas, will call on thee. Repent in time, make no delay, for Christ will call you all the way. My time was spent like day and sun, beyond all cure, my glass is run. Licky bank, a million hearts sank the day that Tommy died. They laid him to rest on the high hill crest, with his fireman by his side. With his fireman by his side. With his fireman by his side.
One. Just my luck for it to blow up now, wouldn't it? I'm going to do a quick little, well, it's not actually a quick song, it's quite a long song really. I'm going to dedicate it to Dad, because as John said, fantastic job. And this is one song which I loved when Dad was alive.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember how the music used to make me smile. And I know if I had my chance, and I could make those people dance, maybe they'd be happy for a while. And February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep, I couldn't take one more step. And I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widow bride. Something touched me deep inside the day the music died. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above? If the Bible tells you so, do you believe in rock and roll? Can music save your mortal soul? And can you teach me how to dance real slow? Well, I know that you're in love with him, 'cause I saw you dancing in the gym. You both kicked off your shoes Man, I dig those rhythm of blues. I was a lonely teenage brown-kin buck with a pink carnation and a pickup truck. But I knew I was out of luck the day the music died. I started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Brought my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Some good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Now for 10 years we've been on our own, a Bournheath fan on a Rolling Stone. But that's not how it used to be. When the jester sang for the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean in a voice that came from you and me. And while the king was looking down, the jester stole his funny crown. The courtroom was a gem, no verdict was returned. And while Lennon read a book on Marx, the quartet practiced in the park. We sang dirties in the dark the day the music died. And we were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Brought my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. And there we were all in one place, a generation lost in space, with no time left to start again. So come on, Jack, be nimble, Jack, be quick. Jack flash sand on a candlestick, 'cause fire is the devil's only friend. And as I watched him on the stage, my hands were clenched with fists of rage. No angel born in hell could break that Satan's spell. And as the flames climbed high into the night to light the sacrificial rite, I saw Satan laughing with delight the day the music died. And he was singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Brought my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys who drink you whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. I met a girl who sang the blues, and I asked her for some happy news, but she just smiled and turned away. I went down to the sacred store, where I'd heard the music years before, but the man there said the music wouldn't play. But in the streets the children screamed, the lovers cried and the poets dreamed, but not a word was spoken. The church bells all were broken, and the three men I admire the most, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, they caught the last train for the coast the day the music died. And they were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Bye.
Bad King John, yes, he was the one who gave us our annual fares. He signed the decree that set us all free to hold twice a year fair days where we can barter and bill and drink till we're ill and forget the problems of life. Pubs are open all day to collect your pay, so be happy with kids and the wife. So be happy with kids and the wife. Come along and walk with me, come along and talk with me at Bromsgrove's annual fair. Come along and walk with me, come along and talk with me down at the annual fair. In October and June, the locals will soon make their way to the fairground site, where they frolic and play and have fun in the hay, whilst the drunks end up in a fight. Schools close for the day so the children can play on the swing boats and cakewalk and shies. Waltzers spin and run till we're sick in the tum. Then the candy floss catches our eye. Then the candy floss catches our eye. Nailers, farmers, and all to the pubs they crawl to boast and barter and chat about who won the fight in the booth that night, or who hit the gong with a splat. Then it's up to Well Lane to find claret of fame for providing of men's basic needs. Pay your fourpence in real, but her knickers don't steal. Home to wives who want no more kids. Home to wives who want no more kids. What fun we've all had, dead's ended, it's sad. Back to work or school next day. Dad was drunk as a lord when he fell in the ford. It sobered him up right away. Mom puts us to bed, our prayers are all said, including a thanks to King John. Fun, the fun we've had there at our annual fair. Thanks again for the care, King John. Thanks again for the fair, good King John. Come along and walk with me, come along and talk with me down at the annual fair. Come along and walk with me, come along and talk with me at Bromsgrove's annual fair. Which is basically what it is. Come step ye down to Bromsgrove town, here in Worcestershire. Where'er you see, you'll find you'll need no finer place than here. From Townsend Mill to Puddlewolf Hill, 1 league the town avails. We live and graft, our hands doth craft fine cloths and buttons and nails, fine cloths and buttons and nails. Our streets have pays for ye and waifs, our church stands on a hill. The Spadesbourne flows where my heart goes, by meadows green and still. From Townsend Mill to Puddlewolf Hill, 1 league the town avails. We live and graft, our hands doth craft fine cloths and buttons and nails, fine cloths and buttons and nails. Ploughshares, horse fairs, and sales of nails, all hustle and bustle and that. By Turnpike Way on market day, they come to butter and chat. From Townsend Mill to Puddlewolf Hill, 1 league the town avails. We live and graft, our hands doth craft fine cloths and buttons and nails. We live and graft, our hands doth craft fine cloths and buttons and nails, fine cloths and buttons and nails. Raised on songs and stories, heroes all renowned, are the passing days and glories of what was Dublin town. The hallowed halls and houses, the haunting children's rhymes, that once was part of Dublin in the rare old times. Ring-a-ring-a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. My name it is Sean Dempsey, as Dubliners can be, born late and hard in Pimlico, in a house that ceased to be. By trade I was a cooper, lost out to redundancy, like my house that fell to progress, my trade to memory. Ring-a-ring-a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. I courted Peggy Diamond, as pretty as you please, O'Rourke and a child of Mary, for a rebel liberties. I lost her to a student lad with skin as black as coal, when he took her off to Birmingham, she took away my soul. Ring-a-ring-a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. The years have left me bitter, the drink has dimmed my brain, nothing stays the same. The Metropole and Pillar are gone, the Royal long since pulled down, as the grey unyielding concrete makes a city of my town. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. So fare thee well, my Anna Liffey, I can no longer stay and watch those crude glass cages rise up along the quay. My mind's too full of memories, too old to hear new chimes, for I once was part of Dublin in the rare old times. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times.
Pass your glasses. Shall we do it now? Pass your glasses. Pass your glasses. Pass your glasses.